Lucifer also questions God's goodness, insinuating that God is holding back from them. A lot of people who love their sin think God is just holding it back from, I love my fornication. I love my violence. Why do I have to give it up to come to Jesus? Well, here's the thing, okay? If you have been born again, your spirit inside you has been resurrected, and you're going to want to do it. That's the point. You're going to look at it differently because you have a new spirit inside of you, the Spirit of God. But God isn't holding back. Sin was deadly in the Garden of Eden. It is just as deadly today. Let's move on to Genesis 3, verses 4 and 5. And the serpent said unto the woman, Ye shall not surely die, for God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. You shall not surely die. A flat-out contradiction of what God had told them. God doth know. He's holding back. Your eyes will be opened. Why doesn't God want your eyes open? Why is God keeping you in blindness? We actually see a little later, and we're going to get into this a little more next week, that their eyes were actually closed, not opened. They lost their spiritual vision. The devil continues, Ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. It's the cheese in the mouse trap right here. A mouse isn't going to go into a trap unless there's something there that he wants, that cheese. Same with Eve, same with us. The message, you can be like God without God. You can choose what is good for yourself, independently of the commandment of God. Doesn't that sound like a good deal, Eve? The false message here is that right and wrong don't exist. Only what you now choose for yourself is right and wrong. Satan sold her on the concept of self. You can go your own way, do your own thing. Worship the way you want to, or not at all. Okay, live the way you want to. You don't need God. You can be your own God. Isn't that nice? All of this is the very nature of darkness. These are lies from hell, and any churches who teach them should immediately close the doors because you're not doing anybody any good. There is a false message here that says you can choose right and wrong for yourself. You don't need the Bible. You can think however you want. What you believe doesn't really matter. It's a false message that God doesn't really mean what he said. God's commandments don't matter. God doesn't judge sin. The false message that God is just holding out on you. God's commandments are too much. Why should we have to give up our favorite sins? Meanwhile, the Apostle John in 1 John says his commandments are not grievous.